Welcome back, everyone. 14 after the hour, and time for us to go behind the headlines. And in the news today, Attorney General Nominee Loretta Lynch is currently on Capitol Hill. She's being grilled by the senators there for her confirmation as the next Attorney General. We've got video from C-SPAN of Jeff Sessions, the Republican from Alabama, asking her questions with regard to her stance on marijuana legalization. Let's go to the video and then we'll discuss it right afterwards here as soon as I can get that played. Hold on just a moment. Let's make sure that works. There we go.
Big problem with me. Now, do you believe and do you support legalization of marijuana?
Senator, I do not.
I know the head of the DEA, who was a little bit out of step with some administration, I think, agreed with you on that. The president said this in January of last year, quote, "I smoked pot as a kid and as a bad habit and a vice, not very different from the cigarettes that I smoked as a young person up through a big chunk of my adult life. I don't think it is more dangerous than alcohol," close quote. Do you agree with that?
Well, Senator, I certainly don't hold that view and don't agree with that view of marijuana as a substance. I certainly think that the president was speaking from his personal experience and personal opinion, neither of which I'm able to share. But I can tell you that not only do I not support legalization of marijuana, it is not the position of the Department of Justice currently to support the legalization, nor would it be the position should I become confirmed as Attorney General.
Well, I do think there's been a lot of silence there. I know the head of the DEA did push back and testified here pretty aggressively, but I think she felt like she was out of step within the administration, and I hope that you will cease to be silent. Because if the law enforcement officers don't do this, I don't know who will, and in the past...
So that's Alabama's Jeff Sessions grilling Loretta Lynch on her support for marijuana legalization. And unfortunately for Sessions, and for Lynch for that matter, there's some problems with what she had to say. First of all, whether or not she supports marijuana legalization is a moot point as Attorney General with respect to people's right to possess and grow their own. There is nothing the Attorney General or the federal government can do to force states to criminalize possession or personal cultivation. Now, the sales aspects that are going on in Colorado, Washington, and eventually Oregon and Alaska is something the federal government could sue to enjoin. That's something that Attorney General Eric Holder mentioned. He also mentioned the fact that should they do that and become successful at stopping the regulated sales and distribution of cannabis in these states, then those states would be left with all the citizens having the right to grow and possess, but nobody being able to sell, which will only exacerbate the black market. So the current Attorney General has done the right thing and understood that it's better to have a regulated market where people are allowed to possess marijuana than to have an unregulated market where people are allowed to possess marijuana. And furthermore, to the senator's question about President Obama's comment regarding marijuana being no more dangerous than alcohol and Loretta Lynch saying she does not share that view, it's not an opinion. This is not an opinion. And as Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan, the late senator, once said, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. By every objective measure, Ms. Lynch, marijuana is far safer than alcohol in terms of overdoses, traffic fatalities, addiction potential, spousal violence, you name the statistic. And marijuana is far safer than alcohol. It's time for our Attorney General and other people in government to understand that many of these points they're bringing up are no longer opinions. We could possibly tolerate that stance before there was any marijuana legalization, and trying to describe what legalization would be was an abstract. But now we have concrete examples of marijuana legalization, 2 states that are currently moving forward with that legalization. So all of these talking points regarding how many kids might use or how much rates would go up or there would be traffic fatalities or there'd be productivity losses can now be measured. And this is no longer a point of opinion. It is a point of fact. Ask any scientist, ask any doctor, ask any law enforcement officer, at least the ones who are honest, and they will tell you that marijuana is far safer than alcohol. The Attorney General, Loretta Lynch, I believe, is being forced to answer these questions in such a way as not to damage her potential for nomination. There's no way she's going to come out and say, yeah, we absolutely support marijuana legalization, because as the top cop, as the Attorney General, her job is to enforce the federal laws as they are written. So what she thinks the laws ought to be, that's up to the Congress. That's up to Jeff Sessions and his colleagues. It's only up to her to enforce these laws. And regarding the senator complaining that there's been silence from the Attorney General's office and that they haven't stood out and would want Loretta Lynch to stand more forcefully against marijuana legalization, well, that's a situation also that I don't think is going to come to fore. I think under President